So there's a lot of finance YouTubers out there making the case that you should dress poor. Straight up, guys, as you can probably imagine, I think this is stupid advice. First up, as somebody that grew up without money, poverty really isn't a choice. And I personally think a better word for them to have used would have been simple. Clean, maybe even the word frugal. But I get it, they wanted to get the clicks. But in any case, as a guy that has studied the science of style for well over a decade, I can tell you with full confidence that choosing to dress well is one of the highest return on investment choices you can make. Now, the dress poor crowd do make a few solid points. First up, dressing well, having a nice outfit does not mean you are competent. I'm sure at some point in your career, you've probably met an empty suit. You know, a guy that's dressing nice but doesn't have anything to offer. Yes, they are out there. Next up, they make the valid point of overspending on clothing. Buying flashy designer pieces, streetwear, watches. Yeah, that can be damaging to the wallet, especially if you can't afford it. And right with that, if you've studied economics, you've got lifestyle creep, aka lifestyle inflation. This is where as you earn more, you start to spend more on the everyday items. You're basically upgrading them from your shampoo to your stylist to the shoes that you wear. As you earn more, instead of buying the same things, you buy higher priced versions, which I get can be a big issue over time, especially if you're trying to save more. And then there's the argument of comfort. A lot of guys are going to argue that t-shirts, jeans, running shoes, this outfit combination for them is incredibly comfortable and just gets the job done. And on top of all this, let's look at the men that are out there killing it. Some of the most successful guys out there, from Musk to Zuckerberg to Alex Hormozy. A lot of times when we see an ultra successful man, we see a guy that dresses how he wants. He doesn't seem to have to wear fancy clothes to impress anybody. And all this evidence on the surface seems to make a pretty good case that the days of image and style mattering, well, they are long gone. Well, the problem with this belief is that nothing could be further from the truth. In today's modern world, where a sports jacket is considered formal wear, I'm here to tell you that the way we dress not only has a huge impact on how others perceive you, but also on how you view yourself. In fact, the impact today is probably greater than it was 30 years ago and definitely 50 years ago. Why is this the case? Simply put, because we engage one-on-one in person with each other less. The times that we do engage with each other, the impressions that we make, those are more powerful, stick around and last longer. And if you can create a favorable impression, you're more likely to get all the favorable associations that come with it. You see, the dress poor crowd, especially when it comes to those at the top, they are making overgeneralizations. You look at Mark Zuckerberg. This is somebody who struck it rich when they were a teenager. Because he was worth billions of dollars at such an early age, he didn't have to conform to the rules that most of us do. I mean, with Elon Musk, if you look at his early pictures, you'll see that the guy dressed decently well. And it wasn't until he reached a level that he was the guy in charge that all of a sudden he just was able to wear whatever he wanted. In fact, in the case of people like Alex Hormozy or Steve Jobs, I'll argue that yes, they dressed down, but these guys have used a consistent image to build their brand. So why does dressing well matter? Why do I think it's one of the biggest return on investments you can make when you are investing in yourself? Well, first up, let's talk about enclothed cognition. This is a new area in science in the last 15 years where researchers have dedicated resources into studying how the clothing we wear affects how we see ourselves and our performance. The simplest example I can give you is if you played a sport, did you have a lucky hat? Maybe a lucky glove? Maybe it was, a lucky pair of shorts or a shirt. Every time you wore that lucky piece of gear, what happened? Good things happened. Why? Well, it wasn't magic. They actually have data on this that an athlete who believes in a talisman, an AKA lucky item, when they have this item, they actually perform at a higher level. Now, again, this isn't magic. This is just simply self-confidence, a belief that they have an advantage, that they've got something that sets them apart. Well, guess what? This can apply to you. And in fact, the classic study done on this was over at Northwestern University. They took like 500 students, 250 they gave doctor jackets, white jackets, the other 250 the same jacket, but they called it a painter's smock. Well, guess what? When these students took a test, those that thought they were wearing a doctor's jacket were more attentive. The jacket actually had the effect on them to be more focused. Those with the painter's smocks, I'd like to think that they thought they were more creative, but at the end of the day, when they looked at the results on a very quantitative test, those wearing the doctor jackets performed significantly better. And to further illustrate this, the FBI did this study. They wanted to see how would agents in the field make decisions when they were dressed in suits or tactical gear. Different random groups, they gave them the same exact problem. Guess what? If you are dressed up in tactical gear, you want to go knocking down the doors, guns a-blazing. If you are in a suit, you are much more likely to want to negotiate or find a peaceful path. I know it seems crazy, but when you understand that wearing the right clothing that makes you feel confident, that makes you feel good, can actually help you perform better. Gents, think about that. Why would you not give yourself this advantage if you've got a test coming up, if you've got a big presentation, if you're going out with your special someone and you want to feel good, look good, then guys, have that go-to outfit that you know makes you feel like $1,000,000, because guess what? You are more likely, I guess, to act like $1,000,000 or whatever. You get the point, right? Now, really quick, gents, all this talk about dressing poor, dressing rich, how about you just simply learn how to make more money? Yeah, instead of dressing a certain way, wouldn't it just be nice to make an additional, $10,000 a month? I know for me, personally, when I hit that number, I felt I had made it. It seemed to unlock tons of opportunities. All of a sudden, I could save a significant amount. I was able to start taking my family on a vacation. I was able to start doing the things I wanted and living the life of my dreams. Well, gents, if you're at all interested in learning how to make more money, I want you to go check out this program I'm doing with Aaron Marino, aka Alpha M. It's called the 10K Club. I'm going to link to it down in the description. And in a nutshell, Aaron and I are laying out the step-by-step methods we have used to build multiple multi-million-dollar businesses so that you can use this information to make your first 10,000. In the program, we focus on mindset, skill set, action, and accountability, all wrapped into an amazing community. And gents, I'm proud to say that we are getting results. There are already a number of guys in the program that have already made their first 10,000 plus. So gents, if you want to learn more, if you're skeptical, which you should be, use the link in the description of today's video and go check out what we're doing. I go into a lot more information over on the page, complete with a video that's breaking out exactly what's in the program and why this program is different from any other one out there. Seriously, this is the program 15 years ago I wish I would have found. Next up, let's talk about the leg up it gives you in the eyes of others. Now, I'm not advocating that you have to wear a suit, but I do want people to wear clothing that suits their body build, that makes them look better. You got to find your own style, whether it's goth, whether it's Western, rockabilly, whatever it may be. Find what works for you, what makes you feel good. But by dressing in a manner that your clothing speaks for you before you open your mouth, guys, all of a sudden you are going to have opportunities open the door for you. I do think most men, it would behoove them if they're getting dressed up to throw on a sports jacket, maybe throw on a necktie, wear that collared shirt, find a way to be able to wear clothing that just makes you look successful, because in everyone's mind, they've got an idea of what a success looks like. This is called heuristics, where we make sense of the world by trying to put it into order because of social media, because of television, because of movies. We have an idea of what, in our mind, a successful man looks like. So when you dress the part of that successful man, people that don't even know you assume that you are successful, and therefore will open up doors and opportunities will open that otherwise would have remained shut. And again, I touched on heuristics, but simply human beings are overloaded with information. Think about it. You look around, there's just all types of things that you got to pick up on. So we focus on things that we perceive to be an opportunity, that we perceive to be a threat. So first up, you always want to dress in a manner that you're not going to frighten people. You're not going to scare them off unless it's Halloween. But seriously, you want to be thinking, how can I dress in a manner that I come off as competent, as trustful? Because whenever you do that, you're just simply hijacking this person to form a good first impression. And the example I love to give is, hey, if you own a yard care company, a lot of people, when they think of guys out there cleaning up their yards, do they really need to have great style? I think they do. They should have a uniform. They should have clothing that protects their body, but also sends the signal that, hey, I am a professional. So when you show up an hour early and there's that single mom behind the door trying to figure out who this is, if your clothing's all torn up, it's beat up, yeah, it's hot outside, it's Florida, but if you're wearing a polo, if you look the part of a professional, she is going to open up that door. And again, it was your image, it was your style, it was your presentation that created the trust that spoke for you without you saying a word. So how to take all this information and actually improve your style? Well, gents, I got you covered with this video. Boom, right here. Ready? Go. Yeah, boom, right there. Go check it out, how to level up your style. I got you covered. Actionable steps. Boom, right there.